We are here to document the stories of Bohol and how they are implementing the PRDP. So let's go back to the time when, at the beginning of PRDP, if you recall, why did the province avail of PRDP funding, and what was the decision process so that you'll be able to access the fund? Kaya na may counterparty.
First, we learned about PRDP from some information coming in from the Department of Agriculture, and that was before the earthquake. We already identified, as I assumed governor in 2010, of the critical areas for the pillars of engines of growth in the province, including eco-cultural tourism. The other pillar is balanced agri-industrial development. And of course, the third pillar is the information communications technology. In the area of agriculture, we realized that we have been strong in rice. We are self-sufficient. In fact, the whole province of Bohol is a food basket in Central Visayas. We, I think, provide about 86% of rice needs of the region. We have the identified commodities that we want to really highlight. That includes, of course, vegetables, seaweeds. We are fourth nationwide in seaweeds production and supplying the need for seaweeds. We are also a growing province for milk. And we also would like to strengthen the livestock sector. So these were the reasons why we thought it will be very, very helpful if we join the PRDP program. Although initially we found the procedures very cumbersome, requirements also, and documentation very, very tedious to comply, but it was all worth it. We had several dialogues at the regional level from the start of the orientation, and it was held in Cebu, and we had a dialogue with the Secretary Piñol, with the World Bank officials in Manila. I was personally present to make sure that the systems and procedures of the program are also streamlined and simplified. We are very, very interested on the four major components of the program. The I build, the I reap, and the I plan, and the I support. So with all these very much also in consonance with and consistent with our development framework, we realized that the program will be an added boost to our existing development plans.
Thank you, Governor. There are four components, and I suppose these are new things as far as project implementation is concerned. But on the other hand, also Bohol is the darling of hunters. So how did these projects, especially the planning and budgeting, galvanize the already experienced people, institution of Bohol, of the province of Bohol?
Well, we work within the framework of the Provincial Development Council, which I chair. Regardless of where the ODA support comes, we have existing modalities of how to approach them. And we are ready to put our needed counterpart funds in the same case as PRDP, which requires funding, support, and counterparting, instead of generating the fund from the municipalities, which are the beneficiaries of the direct beneficiaries of the project. The provincial government allocated our own funds, so you don't disturb the financial requirements for the municipality and the barangays. So we have our counterpart funding already in place. Every year, we allocate what we call a fund for counterparting. So whether it is for PRDP or USAID or the Australian-based programs, we have existing allocations for counterpart funds. It was easy for the province to pull in the counterpart because we are ready for partnerships with the ODA. And the major components of the program were decided also with the PRD, with the Provincial Development Council. That's where all the proposals for ODA partnerships are being discussed initially, and then it goes to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan for the approval of the project. And the authorization for the governor to enter into memorandum of agreement or commitments, and finally, also the needed logistical support that goes with it. So everyone is convinced that the goals and objectives of the PRDP in assisting us is something that also directly hits the head of the nail as far as our strategic direction as a province is concerned. So there we go. We decided to be on board with the PRDP program, and it has contributed so much to Bohol's development, and we are very proud. Even in the State of the Nation, State of the Province address that I delivered, a big part, substantial part of it was a discussion on PRDP and its impact to the local community.
Thank you, Governor. So the province is giving support to the municipalities, especially in terms of infrastructure. Because I also gathered from our provincial engineer that if you leave the municipalities alone, you don't have the resources to pave the way our farm-to-market roads. But after the infrastructure, how would the province lead the towns in developing the agriculture sector now that you already have the needed infrastructure, for example, in Sakbayan?
The infrastructure is not the development per se that we envision. The infrastructure is only a needed component of real development. Development is measured in terms of how well we have influenced positively the lives of people. In the area of agriculture, for example, we have to put a direct linkage between the infrastructure and the food supply and the accessibility of products to market, distribution, the value chain. It is important to be able to see the connectivity of all these efforts. And in the case of Sagbayan, I personally inspected the place, which was proposed to be the project for the I-Build. And now that it's done, you can see how people are now making use of the road as access, and agricultural productivity is also enhanced, and distribution and bringing the products to the market. So it is translated into many forms of multiplier effects. Higher levels of income, maybe lesser cost in transportation. It gets also into the bottom of how the community can be helped in all aspects that will eventually bring up the levels and standards of living of people. So there is a really direct connection, and we are happy that we are seeing it in Sagbayan. It's going to be implemented soon also in other areas. We have already Lobok, Balilihan, Katigbian, and we hope PRDP will continue to provide more support, because even if these are remote barangays, if the accessibility is improved, then the economic impact is immeasurable.
Thank you, Governor. Let's proceed to the IRIF. We have grassroots farmers group now availing of funding from PRDP. How does these grassroots enterprises turning them into entrepreneurs, farmers becoming entrepreneurs, how does that fit in to the provincial development plan or the goals of the province in order to uplift their economic?
We have to really admit that at the initial stage, people will have some forms of uncertainty as to how to proceed with a new project, a new venture, especially people who have been used to dole out systems, but this time they are given a chance to manage their own project, identify them from the first place, and then secure the budget in the second step, and evaluate whether there is a positive impact, and then eventually continue the monitoring aspect. In the case of livestock, for example, there is always a very, very strong community support that is generated. I see the PRDP not just as giving a project to a community, but also teaching the community on the good ways of how entrepreneurship can come into the picture, and capacitating them on how to become good entrepreneurs, so that there will be other forms of income through small micro industries, and will not only rely on the formal employment sector. So the economy at the ground is enhanced, productivity also is increased, and learning and teach capacities, for example, on the area of management of programs and projects is definitely being influenced, attributable to the program of PRDP. I noticed that PRDP is not really only up to the giving of the funding, but really on institutionalizing the understanding of the communities on how to manage their own projects. So we have now a good partnership on native chicken. We have partnerships on milk production and some other products that have been considered priority, including vegetables and other products.
Yes, we are a bit apprehensive this time because of election, and then if we talk about sustainability on one hand and our political culture on the other hand, there seems to be a fear as regards the sustainability of our infrastructures, of our enterprises, small enterprises. How would the province ensure the sustainability of those sub-projects even after your term? Probably, I don't know if you still within your uh, what's this jurisdiction, if it's still within your, but how would the province institutionally, of course, be able to sustain the gains of PRDP?
I don't think our projects, including PRDP, should be person-centered because we focused our program implementation on institutions. Like we have the structures of where decisions are coming from, the implementation groups, the groups that help and assist the local communities. They are embedded in the system of the province. We have a provincial planning and development office and even created a team to focus on the PRDP. They are all capacitated. They know already the ins and outs of the program and the project. And the same is true with downloading the information and the capacities to the recipient, either LGUs or recipient barangays and recipient people's organizations. So if you have this in place, regardless of whether you change leadership, I am very positive that new leaders will also have the same framework. And considering that Bohol has really a definite set of development agenda in our vision statement with agri-industrial development and even economic enterprises development, part of the main engines for growth of the province, I am very optimistic that even beyond my term, the project will be sustainable. So what is important is that our PRDP is always connected to the Department of Agriculture, and even during the lifespan of the project and beyond, as long as capacities have already been built into the system, then there is really no case to worry about it. And people will value a program that has benefited them. People will value a program, a project, an activity which created an impact into their lives. And these are the same people that will ensure sustainability. So leaders can come and go, but the program, I believe, will remain.
Thank you, Governor. Lastly, things that you see would make the project better or the implementation better, management, are there things that you have reflected on that can contribute to PCC?
There have been identified birth pains when we started on the project, including implementation relationship from national, going to the region, going to the provinces. We even moved for the delegation and downloading of some decision making instead of national to the region. World Bank was very interested also to review performances of the different project sites. So I think this will continue. This will be a continuing dialogue. There is no such thing as perfection as of this point in time. There are still many gaps along the way to look into. And as long as we are ready to make measures that will improve what we have identified as weak points, I am optimistic that we can somehow arrive at the best program implementation that we want. So the basic issue that I always put forward is fast tracking. Time is so short. The program also has a limited time frame. Everybody should be interested in how to fast track it. On the specifics of fast tracking, there were already meetings that identified the areas that should be improved. So we just have to be serious about improving them and make sure that the bureaucracies or the layers of bureaucracies that the program has to go through must likewise be streamlined and continue the improvements that we have already done before. I am optimistic that following this line of thought, we can have more projects implemented within the short span of the lifetime of the PRDP program.
Thank you, Governor. Any parting inspiring words for us who are left here for the project for the next 2 years?
Well, I would like to thank the PRDP and the Department of Agriculture and the World Bank for including Bohol in this project. Bohol has always been known as the darling of ODAs, but every experience that we learn from each ODA partner is something that goes a long way in improving governance, in seeing to it that we are able to address the needs of the community. Bohol is a fast-growing province in terms of development and the economy. Our central bank has announced that we have grown in the last couple of years, 2014 to 2017, with a 9.1% growth rate. This is higher than the 6.7% growth of the country. And we have also been looking at the reduction of poverty levels in the index of poverty. We used to be 50.2%. Now we are down to 21.7%, a significant reduction. And we are also looking at the employment rates because now we have a staggering figure of 96% employment level. All these programs that are delivered directly to the ground, which includes PRDP, contributes to the continuous reduction of poverty, which is the focus of our development endeavors. If you look at the vision of the province of Bohol, poverty reduction is at the core. And all other strategies like eco-cultural tourism, balanced agro-industrial development, new employments generated by the ICT sector, these are components that will bring down the poverty of the province. So we are happy with 21.7, but we are not, this is not enough. We have to bring it down lower. So PRDP will have a big contribution to that. And this is our motivation for giving the best of ourselves. And I am also very happy and thankful for all our partners at the local level. We have a very strong PPDO team and a monitoring team that complies with the requirements. And we have very cooperative LGUs who are more than willing to have their towns cooperate also in relation to the program implementation. And so with all the partner agencies, World Bank, DA, our regional office, national offices, and the other participating agencies, I would just simply say the 1.3 million Boholanos are so grateful and will be more than happy to have more programs implemented in Bohol.